The ocean waves crashed against the shore as I stood on the balcony of my beach house, watching the sunrise paint the sky in shades of pink and orange. This house represented everything I'd worked for over the past 15 years. Every overtime shift, every missed vacation, every sacrifice. I'm Sarah Mitchell, 38, and I built this place from nothing. While my family was busy planning how to spend my money, I was working 60-hour weeks as a financial advisor, saving every penny, and learning everything I could about real estate investment. The invitation to my parents' retirement party sat on my kitchen counter, its gold lettering catching the morning light. Join us in celebrating James and Margaret Mitchell's retirement. A new chapter begins. The irony wasn't lost on me. Their new chapter apparently involved my beach house, at least in their minds. My phone buzzed. It was my sister, Emma. "You're coming to the party tonight, right? And bringing the keys." Her voice held that familiar entitled tone. "I'll be there," I replied simply. "Good. Mom and Dad are so excited about moving into the beach house. They've already started planning the renovations." I nearly choked on my coffee. "Renovations?" "Oh, you know Mom. She wants to redo the kitchen, maybe add a sunroom. Dad's thinking about converting your office into their primary bedroom." My office, the room where I'd spent countless nights working on investment strategies, where I'd made the calls that finally secured this property. They were already planning to erase my presence. "Emma, I never agreed to give them the house." "Oh, come on, Sarah. Don't be selfish. They raised us. They deserve this. Besides, you can always buy another place. You make enough money." I ended the call, my hands shaking. This wasn't the first time my family had assumed my success was their safety net. Last year, Emma had borrowed $20,000 for a failed business venture. The year before that, my younger brother Tom had expected me to cover his gambling debts. But this was different. This was my sanctuary. I walked through the house, running my hands along the walls I'd painted myself. Every room held memories of my journey. The living room where I'd slept on a mattress for 6 months while saving money for furniture. The kitchen where I'd celebrated my first major client success with a bottle of cheap wine and takeout pizza. My phone kept buzzing with messages from relatives. "Can't wait to see your parents get their dream retirement home. So generous of you, Sarah. Family takes care of family." I sat in my office, opening my laptop to review the documents I'd prepared. 15 years of bank statements, loan applications, property taxes, all paid for by me alone. Then there were the messages, hundreds of them, showing how my family had really treated me during my journey. A beach house? Don't be ridiculous, Sarah. You'll never afford that. Stop working so hard. No man will want to marry a workaholic. Why can't you be normal and settle down like your sister? I printed everything, placing the papers in a large envelope. Then I added one more document, a detailed accounting of every time I'd financially supported my family over the years. The total was staggering: $157,843. The retirement party was being held at an upscale restaurant downtown. I arrived early, watching the guests filter in. Everyone was dressed in their finest, ready to celebrate my parents' well-deserved retirement. My mother spotted me first. "Sarah, there's my successful daughter." She hugged me tightly, her eyes already looking for the house keys she expected me to hand over. Dad joined us, champagne in hand. "Princess, we were just telling the Hendersons how excited we are to start our new life at the beach." I forced a smile, clutching the envelope in my hand. The room was filling up quickly, Aunts, uncles, cousins, family friends. All of them had received the hint that tonight was the night I'd do the right thing and give my parents their dream retirement home. Emma clinked her glass, calling for attention. Everyone, gather around. It's time for the special moment we've all been waiting for. The crowd hushed, all eyes turning to me. My mother's smile widened. My father straightened his tie. Emma looked smugly satisfied. "Sarah," she announced, "would you like to say a few words before presenting Mom and Dad with their retirement gift?" I stepped forward, the envelope heavy in my hands. Actually, I would. The room waited expectantly. I could see some guests already reaching for their phones, ready to capture the moment. 15 years ago, I started working toward a dream. Not my parents' dream, not my sister's dream, my dream. I wanted to build something for myself, to prove that I could succeed on my own terms. My mother's smile faltered slightly. This wasn't the grateful speech she'd expected. During those 15 years, I worked countless overtime hours. I skipped vacations. I lived in a tiny apartment and drove a used car. I did all of this while also supporting my family whenever they needed help. Emma shifted uncomfortably. She knew exactly how much help she'd received. Tonight, everyone came here expecting me to hand over the keys to my beach house. A house that I bought with my money, that I maintained with my sweat and tears, that I turned into my home. The room grew very quiet. Even the waiters had stopped moving. "Instead, I'm giving you this." I held up the envelope. Inside is a complete record of my journey. Every penny I earned, every sacrifice I made, and every time my family told me I would fail. I walked to my parents and handed them the envelope. "This is your real retirement plan, the truth." My mother's hands trembled as she opened it. The first page was a photo of me sleeping on that mattress in my empty living room, followed by all the bank statements showing my solo journey. But we thought," she stammered. "You thought wrong," I said firmly. "The beach house is mine. I earned it. And I'm not giving it away just because you assumed you were entitled to it." Emma stepped forward, her face red. "How dare you embarrass Mom and Dad like this? After everything they've done for you." I turned to her. "Everything they've done? You mean like telling me I was foolish for working so hard? Or maybe you mean all the times they praised you while dismissing my achievements?" The room erupted in whispers. My father stared at the financial records, his face growing pale as he saw the total amount I'd already given the family over the years. "Sarah," he said quietly, "we didn't realize." "No, you didn't. You didn't realize because you never asked. You never once asked me how I felt, what my dreams were, or what this house means to me. You just decided it was yours." I reached into my purse and pulled out a second envelope. "This contains information about several excellent retirement communities within your budget. I've also included contact information for a financial advisor who specializes in retirement planning. That's my gift to you. The tools to build your own retirement plan, not take over mine." The silence in the room was deafening. Some guests looked embarrassed, others shocked. A few nodded in understanding. My mother was crying now, but I couldn't tell if they were tears of shame or anger. Emma stood with her arms crossed, glaring at me. But for the first time in my life, their reactions didn't affect me. "I love you all," I said, gathering my things. "But it's time for some hard truths. My success is not your safety net. My dream is not your retirement plan. And my beach house? It's staying exactly where it belongs, with me." As I walked toward the door, I heard my aunt whisper, Good for her. I drove home that night feeling lighter than I had in years. The waves were still crashing against the shore when I arrived, their rhythm as steady as my resolve. I kicked off my shoes, walked onto the beach, and let the cool water wash over my feet. For the first time, I truly felt like I owned not just this house, but my own life. Sometimes the biggest gift you can give your family is the truth, even if it's not the gift they wanted. The morning after the retirement party, my phone was flooded with messages, some supportive, most not. I sat on my deck, sipping coffee and reading through them while watching surfers catch the early waves. Aunt Carol, proud of you for standing your ground. Not many would have the courage. Uncle Steve, family should support each other. You're being selfish. Cousin Jessica, can't believe you humiliated them like that. Emma, hope you're happy with yourself. Mom hasn't stopped crying. The last message was from my father, sent at 3 a.m. We need to talk. Family meeting at our house, 2 p.m. today. I considered ignoring it, but maybe it was time for an honest conversation, the kind we should have had years ago. When I pulled up to my parents' modest suburban home at 1:55 p.m., Emma's car was already there. So was Tom's beaten-up pickup truck. The whole family, assembled for what would undoubtedly be an intervention. Mom opened the door before I could knock. Her eyes were red-rimmed, makeup carefully applied to hide the evidence of tears. Come in, she said stiffly. Everyone's waiting in the living room. The atmosphere was thick with tension. Dad sat in his favorite recliner, looking older than he had at the party. Emma perched on the arm of the sofa, arms crossed. Tom sprawled in the corner, trying to appear disinterested, but failing. Sit down, Sarah. Dad gestured to the empty chair facing everyone, the hot seat. I remained standing. I'd prefer to stand. Fine. He cleared his throat. We've been talking, and we think you're not seeing the bigger picture here. Actually, I think I'm the only one seeing it clearly. Emma couldn't contain herself. Oh, really? Is that why you humiliated our parents in front of everyone they know? Because you're so clear-headed. I didn't humiliate them, I replied calmly. I simply showed them the truth. There's a difference. The truth? Mom's voice cracked. The truth is we gave you everything. We supported your education, your career choices. No, Mom. You tolerated my choices while constantly questioning them. There's a difference there, too. Tom shifted in his seat. Come on, sis. They're getting older. They need somewhere nice to retire. You have this huge beach house all to yourself, which I earned. Every square inch of it. Nobody's saying you didn't earn it, Dan interjected. But family helps family. You know that. I pulled out my phone and opened a notes app. Let's talk about family helping family. Tom, how much did I give you last year to cover your gambling debts? He looked away. That's different. $42,000. Emma, what about the startup money for your failed boutique? You said that was a gift. She protested. It was. Just like the money I gave Mom and Dad for their roof repair, and the loan for your wedding, and countless other gifts over the years. I've been helping the family. The difference is, you all see it as an obligation, not generosity. Mom stood up, wringing her hands. We never asked for the beach house, Sarah. We just assumed. Exactly. You assumed. You all assumed that my success meant your security. That my hard work was your retirement plan. Did any of you ever ask me about my dreams? My plans for the future? Silence filled the room. Let me tell you about my plans, I continued. That beach house? It's not just my home. It's going to be a retreat center for burned-out professionals. I'm partnering with a wellness company to create a space where people can recover from corporate exhaustion. The renovations start next month. Their faces showed varying degrees of shock. But what about us? Emma stammered. What about you? You're all capable adults. Mom and Dad have their pensions, their savings, and the equity in this house. You and Tom have your careers, or you would if you focused on building them instead of waiting for handouts. That's enough. Dad stood up, his face red. We're your family, not some charity case. Then stop treating me like your personal bank. The words hung in the air, heavy with years of unspoken resentment. I love you all, I said, softer now. But this dynamic has to change. I'd brought financial advisor recommendations for a reason. Use them. Build your own retirement plan. Create your own success. I'll support your efforts, but I won't sacrifice my dreams for your comfort. Mom sank back onto the sofa. We really messed up, didn't we? Yes, I answered honestly. But it's not too late to fix it. Fix it? Emma scoffed. You've already made it clear you don't care about this family. No, Emma. I care enough to stop enabling behaviors that hurt all of us, including you. Tom finally spoke up, his voice unusually serious. She's right. Everyone turned to look at him. What? Emma demanded. She's right, he repeated. We've all been living like Sarah's success was our backup plan. Maybe it's time we grew up. Mom started crying again. But these tears felt different. Dad sat back down, looking deflated but thoughtful. I left some information on the coffee table, I said, heading for the door. Financial advisors, retirement planning resources, even some career counseling contacts. Use them or don't. That's your choice. But my beach house is no longer an option. As I reached for the doorknob, Dad called out, Sarah. I turned. I'm sorry we didn't see how hard you worked. And I'm proud of you, not just for your success, but for standing up for yourself. It wasn't perfect, but it was a start. Driving home, I felt both drained and energized. The family meeting hadn't gone as they planned. Their intervention had become my declaration of independence. My phone buzzed with a text from Tom. Hey sis, can you send me that financial advisor's number? For real this time. I smiled and pulled over to send it. Maybe change was possible after all. When I reached the beach house, the sunset was painting the sky in brilliant oranges and pinks. A coming soon sign had been installed that morning. Coastal Haven Wellness Retreat, where recovery meets the sea. I walked along the beach, letting the water wash away the day's tension. My phone buzzed again. Emma this time. I still think you're wrong. But can we talk? Just us. Progress comes in small steps. I thought, typing coffee tomorrow as my response. The waves crashed steadily against the shore, constant and unchanging. Like them, I would hold my ground. But unlike them, I could choose when to soften, when to yield, and when to stand firm. This wasn't the end of my family story. It was just the beginning of a new chapter, one where boundaries were clear, respect was earned, and loved didn't come with a price tag. I looked up at my beach house, its windows glowing warmly in the twilight. Soon, it would be filled with people seeking peace and renewal. But for now, it was just mine, a testament to dreams pursued, boundaries defended, and truth finally spoken. 3 months after the retirement party showdown, my beach house was undergoing its transformation. Construction crews worked steadily, converting spare bedrooms into meditation spaces, and adding a yoga deck overlooking the ocean. The dream of Coastal Haven Wellness Retreat was taking shape, but so was something else, an unexpected shift in my family dynamics. I was reviewing blueprints with the contractor when Emma's name flashed on my phone. Our coffee meeting the day after the family confrontation had been tense but civil. Since then, we'd established a cautious weekly ritual of morning walks along the beach. "Can we move our walk up to today?" Her voice sounded different. I need your advice." 20 minutes later, we met at our usual spot. Emma looked uncharacteristically disheveled, her designer clothes replaced by yoga pants and a simple t-shirt. "I got laid off," she blurted out before I could say hello. "The boutique is downsizing," and she trailed off, kicking at the sand. I waited, expecting the usual request for money. Instead, she surprised me. "I don't want a loan," she said quickly. I want to know how you did it, how you built something from nothing." I studied my sister's face, looking for any sign of manipulation. All I saw was genuine vulnerability. "It wasn't from nothing," I said finally. "It was from a lot of small decisions, day after day." We walked along the water's edge as I explained my journey, the extra certifications I'd earned, the networking events I'd attended while she was at parties, the investments I'd made while she was shopping. "But I'm already 35, she said. "Isn't it too late?" "I started at 32. I reminded her, "It's never too late to restart." She stopped walking, turning to face the ocean. "I've been thinking about what you said at a family meeting, about enabling behaviors. You were right. I've been waiting for life to happen to me instead of making it happen." The admission hung between us, as weightless as the sea spray. "There's a business course at the community college," she continued. "Financial management for entrepreneurs." I thought maybe. "I'll send you the registration link," I said. "But Emma, you have to complete it. No quitting halfway through like the others." She nodded, and for the first time in years, I saw a glimpse of the determined girl she used to be before our family's expectations shaped her into someone who always took the easy way out. Meanwhile, Tom had actually followed through with the financial advisor. He'd taken a second job as a mechanic, using his natural talent with cars to start paying off his debts. Dad helped him set up a payment plan, and together, they were slowly climbing out of the hole his gambling had created. Mom and Dad's transformation was more subtle, but equally significant. After the initial shock and hurt wore off, they'd started meeting with a retirement planner. The process forced them to confront some uncomfortable truths about their financial habits, but they were doing it. One Sunday afternoon, Mom called asking if she could see the renovation progress. I hesitated but agreed. She arrived alone, wearing practical shoes instead of her usual heels. The construction crew had gone home, leaving the site quiet, except for the eternal rhythm of the waves. "It's not what I expected," she said, running her hand along a newly installed bamboo wall. "When you said wellness retreat, I pictured something less professional," I supplied. "More hippie," she admitted with a small smile. "This is beautiful, Sarah. You've really thought everything through." We stood on the unfinished yoga deck, watching the sunset. The silence between us felt different, respectful rather than strained. "I found your old business plan the other day," she said suddenly. "The one you wrote in high school about opening a financial advisory firm. I dismissed it then, told you to focus on finding a husband instead." I remember. I was wrong. I was so focused on what I thought success should look like that I couldn't see you were already mapping your own path. The admission brought unexpected tears to my eyes. Mom, let me finish. She held up her hand. Your father and I, we came from a generation where family meant sharing everything. We didn't understand boundaries because we never had them. But watching you these past months, standing firm, building this place, helping your siblings help themselves, it's taught us something important. She turned to face me fully. You're not just successful because you made money. You're successful because you know who you are and what you want. That's what we should have taught all of you. The contractor's truck pulled up, interrupting our moment. But something had shifted, like a door long stuck had finally begun to ease open. The next week brought another surprise. Tom showed up at the beach house early one morning, toolbox in hand. The contractor mentioned you needed help with some electrical work, he said awkwardly. I thought, maybe, I'm certified now. And I handed him a coffee and the work order. For the next few hours, we worked in comfortable silence, broken only by technical questions and the sound of tools. It felt like building something new, something beyond mere circuits and wires. Emma's business course was going well. She called me late one night, excited about a marketing concept she'd learned. It's like all these years I was trying to run before I could walk, she said. Now I'm finally learning the basics, and it actually makes sense. The family meeting that had seemed like an ending had actually been a beginning. Not of the story they'd planned, where I handed over my dreams to fund their comfort, but of something more valuable, genuine growth and respect. Dad started dropping by the construction site occasionally, not to criticize or claim, but to admire the progress. He'd bring coffee and sit quietly, watching the transformation. Sometimes he'd share stories about his own father, who'd built their family home from scratch. He would have understood you better than I did, he said one day. He believed in building things that last. The wellness retreat was scheduled to open in 2 months. The reservations were already rolling in. Burned out executives, stressed entrepreneurs, people looking for a place to reset and rebuild. One evening, as I reviewed the booking system, I found a familiar name. Emma Mitchell, 3 months out, 5-day stay. When I called her about it, she laughed. I used my own money. Don't worry. That business course helped me start a small social media consulting side gig. I thought, maybe I could learn something from your dream while building my own. The conversation reminded me of something the contractor had said earlier about foundations, how they need to be strong enough not just to support what's being built, but to allow for future growth. That's what these past months had been about. Not just renovating a beach house, but rebuilding family foundations, creating space for new growth while maintaining the strength to stand alone. As I walked through the partially completed retreat center, I could see it all coming together. The meditation room where the family room had been, the consultation space that was once my office, the healing garden replacing the traditional lawn. Each change represented not just a physical transformation, but an emotional one. My phone buzzed with a group text from Mom. Family dinner this Sunday. Everyone pays for their own meal, separate checks, your choice of restaurant. I smiled at the deliberate acknowledgement of boundaries and replied with a simple yes. The sun was setting over the ocean, painting the construction site in gold. Soon, this place would help others find their path to renewal. But it had already helped my family find something we'd never had before, the courage to build our own dreams instead of borrowing someone else's. 1 year after the retirement party that changed everything, I stood at the entrance of Coastal Haven Wellness Retreat, watching the sunrise on our official grand opening day. The transformation was complete, both of the property and, more surprisingly, my family. The first guests would arrive in a few hours, but for now, I had an unexpected gathering to host. My family had asked to be the first to tour the completed retreat, not as potential residents, but as supporters. They arrived together, Mom and Dad in their practical car, purchased with their own carefully planned retirement funds. Emma in her modest but reliable sedan, bought with her social media consulting earnings. And Tom in his now well-maintained truck, debt-free, and running a successful mobile mechanic service. This is breathtaking, Mom whispered as they entered the main hall. The morning light streamed through the floor-to-ceiling windows, illuminating the carefully curated space where stressed executives would soon begin their journeys to recovery. Emma ran her hand along the bamboo walls. I can't believe this is the same house. It's like it grew into what it was always meant to be. Kind of like all of us, Tom added quietly. Dad stood at the window overlooking the ocean, his expression thoughtful. You know, when I first retired, I thought I needed a beach house to be happy. But these past months, working with that financial advisor, volunteering at the community center, I've found something better. Purpose. We walked through the meditation gardens, the yoga studio, the counseling rooms. Each space told a story of transformation, not just of the property, but of what happens when you hold firm to your vision while allowing others to find their own path. I have something to show you, I said, leading them to a small room near the entrance. Inside, a wall displayed photographs, the original beach house purchase, the construction process, and surprisingly, family photos. But we were awful to you, Emma protested, staring at a picture of us as children. Why would you include these? Because every story of transformation needs a beginning, I explained. This retreat isn't just about helping executives find peace. It's about showing them that change is possible, that it's never too late to rebuild, something our family has proved. Mom wiped away tears, but these were different from the ones shed at the retirement party. We really did rebuild, didn't we? Speaking of rebuilding, Tom cleared his throat. I have news. I'm opening my own auto shop. Small, but it's mine, and I did it without asking for loans from anyone. The pride in his voice was worth more than any beach house. Emma smiled. My social media business is expanding too. I'm hiring my first employee next month, on my own terms, with my own money. And we finalized our retirement plan, Dad added. It's modest, but it's ours. We're even thinking about teaching financial literacy classes at the senior center. We ended the tour on the deck overlooking the ocean. The same waves that had witnessed our family drama a year ago now watched us standing together. Differently, but stronger. The first guests arrive at noon, I said, but I wanted you all to see it first. Not because you're entitled to it, but because you helped me understand something important. Sometimes the biggest gift we can give each other is the space to grow. As they left, Mom hugged me tightly. We're proud of you, Sarah. Not just for this place, but for showing us a better way to be a family. I watched them drive away, then turned to prepare for the retreat's first guests. The morning light caught the new sign, Coastal Haven Wellness Retreat, where transformation begins. A year ago, I'd stood firm to protect my dream. In doing so, I'd helped my family find their own dreams. The beach house hadn't become their retirement home, but it had become something more valuable, a symbol of what's possible when you build your own path while supporting others in finding theirs. As I walked through the retreat, one final time before opening, I smiled at the framed quote in the entrance. Sometimes the bravest thing we can do is not to hold on, but to let go of expectations, of entitlement, of the past and build something new. The waves continued their eternal rhythm, witnesses to endings and beginnings, to storms and calms, to the constant possibility of change. Just like them, we had learned to be both strong and flexible, constant and evolving, separate yet connected.